It's important to look at the experiences of Indigenous and Black students in the North End and downtown area of Winnipeg Treaty 1 territory. We all know that those areas are heavily policed, and we know that there's structural disadvantages in the community that impacts the outcomes of and trajectory of those families. And so we're looking into those experiences to center those experiences and to think about safety from those experiences. And when you do that, you realize that some superficial notions of safety often silence marginalized families of color. Students already experience the school as a racist space often, and having police involved further make racism more entrenched in their relations. Our findings show that police involvement in school unjustly target racialized youth, breaches their rights for privacy and safety, and criminalizes their behaviors.
Students were bullying me because of my name and comparing it to a terrorist, and I didn't really like that. The more that it went on, the angrier I got, and so I got angry and it started showing in different ways. I noticed that when the students would make fun of me, nothing was done. I think when I first started getting angry, being in the hallway, I'd noticed longer looks from the police. It started gradually getting into the principal coming up and talking to me, and the police would be kind of by her side. And then after that, the police started talking to me. They would tell me to be careful. They would just make kind of remarks in the hallways. And then I just remember one morning I went to school. I was called into the office. I saw some of my belongings on a table. I guess they had searched my locker while I was in class, and they accused me of selling drugs. And then they did a strip search while I was in the office. The office was kind of visible, so there was like people in between classes, and I felt like I was being watched by like other students. I felt really uncomfortable, and I felt belittled.
My experience was that it just aggravated my son, and it made me feel like as a parent that I didn't have any power over anything. It just creates intimidation for students and for parents, and it just creates a whole new culture in the school, because then students are talking about that other student, and rumors get more inflamed, and that's been my experience with police in schools.
I'd come check in with the officer at least like once a week, and the officer would be by my class more often. But I think after that experience, I didn't go to school for much longer because I was suspended, and then I didn't really go back to school. For me, I came with a lot of baggage, being mixed race. I felt like my experience wasn't taken into account.
There really is no need to involve police, because these are students, and there is a lot of emotional well-being that has to be taken care of with these students.
I think, for a long time I was really afraid to show my emotions, and I was really afraid to get angry. I think a lot of what happened with the police in schools, I think a lot of it followed me after, and so it created long-lasting effects on my psyche and how I guess interacted with the world.
Having a police presence just aggravates the situation. My experience with police as an Indigenous woman hasn't been positive. It says to me as a parent that teachers don't have good relationship with the students. No problem is so great that you can't resolve it with talking to the students and trying to figure out different ways of getting to the issues with students. Having police there is probably not the best idea, because it just creates a fear mentality.
But I think that experience followed me after, because sometimes I get a lot of anxiety when I see police. It gets a little bit triggering.
A lot of these teachers don't have any experience outside of their school. The curriculum of teachers, there's no anti-racist teaching, and there's no conflict management. And teachers really need to be trained in cross-cultural awareness and emotional development. And yeah, it would be good to have counselors there, and maybe elders, and even a peer support group of some sort happening.
Yeah, I'd recommend more diversity amongst staff. Something would be good as elders, and giving students the tools for dealing with the emotions that they have. Ending police involvement, just like what police represent, sometimes it can feel a little bit overwhelming. You feel like you're a criminal before you've even done anything.
It can be very triggering having police presence, never mind being criminalized by them. It's humiliating in front of peers, and it takes an impact on the psyche of the individual, and it can be long term and adds to that racism that they already experience and intensifies it. Most participants in the study felt that police involvement in schools should end. Families wanted to defund and deprioritize relations with the police, and it meant offering those genuine organic resources in the community and in the school. This could be in counselors, elders, social work, programs, having a safer spaces where the students feel they're heard, not judged. The racism permeates those relations in school. It's in the curriculum, it's with the students, it's with the staff, and adding police to that mix makes it really a toxic environment. And that's why it's really important to question policing of students. And even if though we ended police involvement in school, the policing logic can still be there in staff and in other peers. And so we need to be mindful of that and be vigilant against it. We need to be caring and respectful to others and understand the disadvantages that these communities feel. Most participants struggled with police in and outside of school. And so this wasn't just an issue of a few bad apples, but it was a system issues. When many students and families experience racism in school, they don't feel that there's accountability, and they feel that they're further hurt through going through the school process, which results in disengagement and pushing students out of schools. And so we really need to address those issues instead of further criminalizing those youth. Often when students are experiencing racism in school, they don't feel heard, and when they lash out, they're criminalized, and in the cases that we've showed, police really created more problems.